So today we're going to talk about how to accomplish the impossible. How can you make your teenager happy? So today we're going to talk about, as a parent, how can I make my teen happy? So in order to understand what we're going to talk about today, it may be necessary for you to have an understanding of some of the things that we've discussed in other videos on our channel. I invite you to go back and preview some of those videos where we talk about how our beliefs drive our behavior, when we talk about principles, which are laws that govern the world in which we live, and how important it is to make sure that our beliefs are based on principles or truths if we really want to get the outcomes in life that we desire. So let's talk about this desire first of all. I want my teen to be happy. Well, why would I want my teen to be happy? It seems like kind of an obvious question. You know, all parents want their kids to be happy. We all want to be happy. But here's the question: can I make my teen be happy? And think about that as your child is grown up. Have you found it possible to make your child be happy? Now, there are times, as you think back on that, where I'm sure you would say, well, yeah, you know, I've made my child happy. They've wanted to go play with their friends or to go hang out with their friends, and I've told them no, and they've been unhappy. Or I've told them yes, I've given them the answer that they want, and they've been happy. But here's the important thing to understand and to remember. When I say no, and if you'll look at some of our videos about emotions and where emotions come from, that's the antecedent, or that's the event. But that's not what makes my child unhappy. It's their thoughts or beliefs about the answer no that creates the emotion that they feel. So if I say no to my child and they're unhappy, is it me that's making them unhappy? If I say yes to my child and give them what they want and my child is happy, is it me making them happy? No, it's still them. They are the ones that have the choice and the control to be happy in any circumstance or any situation. But here's the problem. If I believe that it's me that's making them happy, then if my child is unhappy, then I feel the responsibility that I need to do, say, or give them whatever it is that they want in order to be happy. Now think about what that creates. So if I start that at a younger age with my child, then anytime my child is unhappy, they begin to believe that it's because something in their external world is not the way they want it to be or the way that it should be. And the way to achieve that happiness is to change that external world. So I need to get my parent to give me what I want. I need to be allowed to do whatever it is that I want. But all that now does is create a situation where they're out of control in their life. And as the things that create the unhappiness, the discontent in their lives, as those things continue to perpetuate, and the reason that they do is because of the beliefs that I have. So as long as I believe that the solution to my unhappiness is outside of myself, I'm going to focus on those things outside of myself. I'm never going to look inside and look at me. Well, the truth is, happiness comes from the inside. Happiness is a choice, and we can choose to be happy at any time, in any circumstance, in any situation. But I need to change my thoughts and I need to change my beliefs. If I don't understand that, I will never fix that problem, and the unhappiness and the discontent will continue to perpetuate. Now here's the cool thing though. We live in a world that there are consequences for our actions. For everything that we do, there are consequences. And those consequences are just feedback to us, telling us what's working and what's not working. So if I have a false belief, but then I'm not allowed to experience the consequence of that false belief because somebody else steps in and prevents me from experiencing the consequence of that, that's called enabling by the way, and we do that oftentimes in our relationships. We enable other people to continue on in their false beliefs. And the way that we do that is by preventing them from experiencing the consequences of their choices. So if I'm making decisions and choices that are bringing me unhappiness in my life, but then somebody else steps in and gives me something on a temporary basis to change this unhappiness, I'll never get to the truth. I'll never figure out what's causing the unhappiness, and I'll never figure out the solution to the unhappiness. So in our relationships with our children, we need to be careful about how we see them, and again about why we want them to be happy all of the time, why we don't want them to be unhappy or disappointed or hurt. If we realize, another principle here, that we can't control our children, we can't control their emotions, we can't control their behaviors, all we can do is influence them. If I understand that, it's going to change the whole way that I interact with my child. And if I can start from a young age of helping my child realize that they're responsible for their own happiness, that if they are unhappy, that's okay, but to recognize that they're choosing to be unhappy, and then to help them look at and understand why they would make that choice. With that understanding, they may then decide that they don't want to be unhappy. They would rather be happy, and then you've given them the tools to change their emotional state by changing their thinking about the event or the situation. So here's the truth about this desire. We cannot make our teens happy. All we can do is we can love our teen, we can set boundaries for our teen, and a boundary is something that we have control over that they don't. So a boundary isn't about trying to control them, and we'll talk more about that in another video, but a boundary is more about me controlling myself. So this is what I will do, or this is what I won't do. I respect that you still have your choice to do whatever it is that you want to do, but there's consequences from that. And again, it's through those consequences that we learn what works and what doesn't work in our life. You can't make your teen happy, but you can influence your teen, and you can love and accept your teen. You can set boundaries around them, and you can allow them to experience the consequences of their choices. And as they do that, and as they begin to learn about and understand the principles that govern this life, the outcome of that is they will achieve more happiness in their life, but it's because of them, and it's because of their desire, and it's because of them focusing on the things that they do have control over instead of the things that they have no control over. And that's where true happiness comes from. Thanks for watching again today. Hopefully what we're talking about is helping you in your daily life. Go ahead and comment below. Share with us your thoughts, suggestions, and questions.